I refuse to be denoted as something that I am not. It will not be tolerated.
Calm down! Calm your ass down! God damn you!
Get the fuck out the car!
Well. I guess I have your attention now. I guess it's good that I know how to take care of myself. This is for wasting my time. This is for thinking you can hustle me.
Everyone thinks it's funny when I'm being disrespected. But then when I get disrespectful, nobody laughs. Why aren't you laughing? It was so funny when you were disrespecting me. It was so funny. But then when I take it to my level, because there are always levels. So when I take it to my level, all of a sudden everybody stops laughing.
I believe that justice is in the eye of the beholder. I am a woman of conviction, and I accept the consequences of my actions. I have no regrets.
I like that. Yeah, I don't...
Do you know how long I have waited for this day to come? And if I wasn't so determined to make you suffer, I would end your life right now. But why would I deny myself the pleasure of watching you beg? That when I'm done with you, you will beg.
I'ma tag his ass, had his ass, and beat his ass back. Get on your knees and say please before I flash. I want your soul, won't see it right in the bed. You know that I never know, I'm changing all of the tags. Sleeping on me, got body sleeping on me. Them niggas bitches, I know all they Tennessee. They say I'm chipping, I'm just saying I'm trying to turn it to a hot pack.
You do come to a healing point to where you do recognize that they do plan on breaking you down. When you try to escape, not understanding that as a Black woman, unfortunately, there is nowhere to escape to. There's nowhere to escape to. You say that you're going to escape to the white man, but the white man only looks at you as somebody to pump and dump and to disrespect. He looks at you as not a human being either. The racial component of dehumanization. And not that Black men can't dehumanize you, but I'm saying in a way of I'm white and I'm looking at you from this supposed self-imposed state of superiority over you. I am willing to have intercourse with you, but I still think that you are not a human being. Until Black women unpack their male-centered need to be a mammy, their deep-seated need to feel like having a man validates their whole existence, you're going to get dogged out by whatever race of man that you choose. You're going to get dogged out by the Blacks. You're going to get dogged out by the whites. You're going to get dogged out by the Asians. You're going to get dogged out by the Indians. You're going to get dogged out by everyone until you unpack that desire to feel like having a man is the end all be all of all time. The women that I do know that do have men that don't play about them are generally women like myself that can take it or leave it. That can have a man or not. That don't put having a man on a pedestal. Really, honestly, that's the key to everything is dropping that. And then you will attract whatever that you're supposed to attract. But first you have got to stop being a mammy and a pick-me, because when you have that, the only men that you are going to attract are men that want to siphon energy from you. Energy vampires, warlocks. Oh yeah, I be dating these men. No, you don't. No, you don't. They put their dick in you. That is a total different thing than being dated and treated like a queen with intention. Because you got to put that forth to men. But I'm not playing no games with you. You ain't about to come over here and get no pussy and drop me back off. You're not getting a single solitary thing until you give me what I need. The majority of men are not open to dating Black women. And that's just a fact, because they're not dating with intention. which is to keep you around, which is to make a family with you, which is to support you, which is to uplift you.
Hold on, I got something. Because these people still watch, so I still like to say names. He tried to play on my intelligence and groom me little by little. Pet the kitty, pet the kitty. Okay, maybe she'll come. Maybe she'll fall into my trap. You know? Because I deceive people and I do all these things and I'm a narcissist. Instead, I'm going to deceive people. I don't think they really see me. Oh, I'm going to do little flirtations. I'm going to send little pictures and see if they take the bait. You know, see if they follow the fragrant perfume of my deceptive allure. I hate when people play with my intelligence in this way. And I'm the type of person, I'll let you get pregnant with the sin. I'll let you get pregnant with it. Keep doing the dance. Let me see how far you're going to take it.
The predacious producer, a conniving entity of whom attempted to inconspicuously exploit and underhandedly agendize moments of intimacy for his own self-serving interests without consent. Predacious comparison point. The predacious producer and the powerless handler, respective to energy harvesting methodologies. The predacious producer and the powerless handler are accustomed to honing in on energy that harbors the potential to be extrapolated upon. In essence, they are predacious by nature. They are energetic predators, insidiously cloaked as a support system that serves to elevate you. Yet the energetic exchange operates on behalf of their predacious benefit at your sacrificial expense. The predacious producer and the powerless handler are essentially engaging in energetic sorcery and the metaphysical realm, as they are alchemizing the gifts and abilities of others, whilst extracting energy from the unwitting soul through the necessary alchemical process. They are energetically gluttonous, ravenous to consume the souls that they have single-handedly commodified. In a reverse-engineered way, they are seeking out, devouring, and metabolizing slivers of that which they are not, yet desire to be. In this way, they are energy harvesters that feed off of the spiritual gifting of others. They are those who will never become the powerful entities for which they ever so deeply desire to be, because they are spiritually stunted and energetically codependent, which requires for them to lean on the energy harvesting methodologies of spiritual hijacking and sorcerous thievery.
Actual witches and warlocks and wizards and sorcerers operating in your life presently and in your bloodline. Not because they're in your bloodline, but because they've been watching you. Sorcerers are shapeshifters. Not for fake, not for sci-fi. Sci-fi is real fi. Sorcerers, all these different pantheons to which this shape-shifting manner of darkness passes through. You need to understand that this evil takes the form that it knows it can attack you in. Hear me again. You need to know that this manner of evil takes the form and the shape of whatever is necessary for it to attack you. The demons of our bloodline are waiting for us because they're hoping that we fall into the same sin patterns and end up grafting ourselves into the iniquity that will have us in hell so that they can mock us and say, you didn't complete what you were created to do as a vessel on the earth.
Predatory conceptualization. The predacious producer is a songwriter, studio engineer, and performer by trade.
What's the most records I've ever done in 1 year as a recording engineer? Damn. Around 2017, 2018, I would be with 2 artists a day, sometimes 8-hour sessions back to back. I must have worked with at least 200 artists that year. That's ridiculous. And those artists, they're not doing 1 song a day. Sometimes they're doing 2 to 3 songs a day. So when you do the math on that, it starts becoming pretty believable when I tell you I've done probably close to 500 songs in 1 year. That's crazy. And that is not uncommon for the higher end of the busy engineers out here. If you can get yourself really busy, you can do some crazy numbers out here.
His energetic signature is characterized by unwitting transparency as he helplessly allows for the full expression of his soul, his highs and lows to unceasingly flow before the listener like a discordant melody. He defenselessly grants access unto the deepening dimensions of his expeditiously unraveling essence, admittedly soothed via being cradled by the all-comprehending and ever-expansive conduit of serene eminence. He projects a pain that is inundating in its presence, as his preceding anguishes overflow like a waterfall, a wash of sorrow in real time, viscerally on display as his expression evidently echoes his encapsulated trauma, a torturous pain that has reverberated through his lineage and is subsequently asphyxiating his life force, thus ensnaring him in a perpetual holding pattern of stagnancy in this lifetime, a binding agony that has imbued him with a sense of powerlessness, a powerlessness transformed into power as it is unchained in moments of cacophonous catharsis, unleashed amidst interpersonally triggering instances and haphazardly released during moments of reckless abandon upon unsuspecting vessels. This entity presents as obliviously conflicted as he grapples with identity dissonance, which is externalized as an acknowledgement of his ruins, devoid of the ability to take accountability and effectually alchemize his shame and discontent for the sake of experiencing, enduring, progressive change. His conflicted nature is evident as he reiterates ad nauseum how innocent and well-meaning that he is, yet insidiously schemes in the unseen realm, awaiting to strike once the chosen vessel is most vulnerable. His tenacious tendency to implant the facade of an innocuous entity into one's mind is a subtle form of mind control. It is a psychological distraction that lulls the perceived prey into a comfortable state, that emulates trust so that the perceived prey might be soothed into submission and thus more receptive once the scheme is unveiled. This entity employs manipulative grooming tactics to subdue those that he desires, to extract power from their essence. In the process, he is simultaneously warring with and rectifying his feelings of powerlessness via taking advantage of vessels when their defenses are down. Vexations and violations. In terms of personal vexations with the predacious producer, this entity initially courted me appropriately and persistently. He always assured to present as well-mannered, apologetic, and accommodating throughout the time span of the connection. All instances of violation occurred in relation to the act of intimacy. Sodomization. Amidst the act of intimacy, this entity attempted to sodomize me without consent. When a declarative refusal to engage was ushered forth, the entity ceased in his efforts. This act is not inherently deplorable. However, subsequent to confirming my disinterest after the incident, he agreed to refrain. Nevertheless, during future-most moments of intimacy, he would wait until I was most relaxed and attempted to implant desires in my head, such as, "You know you want sodomy with me. You love sodomy with me." As he were slipping hypnotic suggestions into my mind, when my faculties were not fully engaged, he was attempting to assure my inevitable complicity. However, inevitable was never in this case. He then proceeded to incessantly apologize as we traversed forward. Derogatory degradation during intimacy. Amidst the act of intimacy, he referred to me as a derogatory term that is ill-suited to my actual beingness. When confronted about it, he stated that he would only call me the derogatory term during intimacy. I told him that he would not call me any derogatory terms in or out of the bedroom because it is unwarranted and it is inaccurate. A myriad of unacceptable and subtly aggressive acts are sublimated into the acceptable act of intimacy, thus blurring the boundaries between acceptable and unacceptable treatment amid one's overall intimate partnership dynamic. In addition, Although stated thoughtlessly amidst a moment of passion, this demeaning form of subjugation is reflective of a perception that he holds about women and perhaps African American women as a whole. He verbatimly stated that he only dates Black women because they are built to tolerate more, and they are increasingly more willing to operate as a companion when a man is operating at his lowest. These statements offer a bit of insight into his view of women of the African American diaspora. Men's unacknowledged and therefore unresolved feelings of resentment, shame, and powerlessness are hidden deep within the recesses of their projected perceptions. These true feelings inadvertently leak out as reflective projections of their perception. These projections must not be internalized, because then you would be accepting the projector's invitation to intermingle with their insecurities and their misguided beliefs at the expense of your veritable truth. If you come into agreement with the projector's deficiencies, you will thus operate as an electromagnetic match to them, as you allow for this agreeance to meld with your perception on a subconscious level. I refuse to be denoted as something that I am not. It will not be tolerated. Subsequent to this incident, he incessantly apologized, and we traversed forward. The pornographic inquisition. Whilst in the passenger seat, his gaze was directed away from me, an intentional means by which to avoid direct eye contact. His body was turned away from me, and in essence, his very energy was deeply contained and retracted away from my energy. Yet his energy was simultaneously erect and grounded within his body, almost as if he were synergistically connected to a veiled intention that was finally able to make itself known. His vessel enlivened by the possibility of having his inconspicuous intention made manifest. His cadence was intensively subdued, yet laced with unmistakable conviction. The corrupted crux of his reasoning for initiating a connection with me was on the cusp of being unveiled. He inquired about my willingness to be recorded during intercourse, and stated that I could thrive as an OnlyFans star with his assistance. I declined his proposal with immediacy and stated that I had no interest in his pornographic proposition. Reiteration of the pornographic proposition. Whilst I was in an intimately compromised position where my back was turned and my inhibitions were lowered, he whispered in a lulling cadence his desire to interweave me with his chronicled pornographic desires. As I disengaged and proceeded to exit, I noticed a filming apparatus was inconspicuously looming in the darkness. I expressed my disappointment in his inability to respect my boundaries. He unashamedly apologized and attempted to re-engage my interest with humor, as if he had been reeled back into reality once his advances were met with contention and therefore left in the dismal reality of failure and unfulfillment. His countenance was akin to Adam 22, the Caucasian culture vulture that exploits the pain of African American artists and praised his wife for engaging in recorded intercourse with an African American male. Entities like Adam 22 and the predacious predator are inherently selfish, as they are more than willing to sacrifice the very entities that foundationally hoist them up upon the platform that they are elevated upon for the sake of being perceived in a higher light in the eyes of the world. They embody a deep desire to grandstand before the external world to counterbalance the energetic signature of worthlessness that has enveloped their innermost being. Although every single solitary soul on this planet has a right to triumph over their insecurities in a manner that they see most suitable, I will not be complicit in coddling the fragility of man at the expense of sacrificing my own self-worth. The spiritual artistry of severing ties. The predacious producer attempted to pursue serene eminence subsequent to all of the disclosed points of violation. However, he was met with the following correspondence. I don't mind you being yourself, handsome. You know I truly love reveling in your energy. The only thing that makes me uncomfortable is when you film me without consent and when you try to convince me that I need sodomy. It's difficult to fully unwind in your presence knowing that whenever I'm feeling most sensuously open, that you might take full advantage of my vulnerability via doing something that I am not in agreement with. I want you to fully express yourself because you deserve to freely and fluidly express your energy. I just don't feel you can thoroughly be your expansive self with me. And I don't want to be responsible for constricting your energy. Also, I know that if you can't fully express yourself with me, that you will seek to do so elsewhere. I am more than sure that you can find someone who equally enjoys sodomy, being filmed during intercourse, and so much more. I just don't want you to suffocate your sensuality at the expense of me feeling comfortable. And I also don't want to compromise myself just to assure that you won't venture off to have your needs met with someone else. And if I come across any intimate footage anywhere on the internet, dark web, deep web, OnlyFans, pornographic site, etc., then I would know that you are indeed malicious at heart and are not as innocent as you portray. I offered my trust to you in moments of vulnerability because I saw potential in the evolution of our connection. Yet and still, time and time again, you insidiously attempted to take advantage of the situation when my defenses were down via the utilization of seemingly unsuspecting means. I tried to have faith that you were not the type of man to exploit the vulnerability of a woman of whom tried to create space in her heart for you. But in the end, I've clearly come to see that your intentions were not pure, which is a deeply disheartening realization to commune with. I pray that you do not dare treat any future most women like you have attempted to treat me. Our energetic tie betwixt one another has officially been energetically severed.
Because I'm not going out bad, and I don't need no scandal to be attached to me about how I got to where I was going, and I effed my way up to the top. Ain't no dick that special. Excuse me for strong language, but ain't nothing to ride that special. Never was. And I was created to expose things, expose iniquity, expose evil. And the Lord has positioned me to talk about very difficult things because of the level of deliverance that I'm created. I have to produce, not just for my bloodline and for my family, but for every person who might connect and resonate with some of what I'm saying, not because of the same specifics, but just the nuanced parts of it. And they recognize it. And I don't take my platform or anything I say. I don't play around with the things that I come up here and share with y'all.
Her partners have been people that have been past life enemies, born into this life. She's doing battle with them. She's at war with them so that she could connect with them and cut the connection off, and therefore cut the karma off on a deep level. She did it physically, she did it psychically, and she did it contractually on this planet. That was her intention. Control their energy, discard their energy. I'm gonna control it, I'm gonna discard it. It was to destroy them and to push them away energetically so that they can't get in her frequency range and stop her from doing what she needs to do. She's aware that people want to stop her, and she does not want you to stop her. That's not what she wants to have happen. She's acutely aware of who is not in her best interest.